Hey everybody, finally back on. I'm going to be doing this special for a little bit. Going to be inking up this Apogee Comics piece for Ray and Nick, and we're going to do their Kickstarter. I'm going to be working on a print for their Kickstarter and a nice poster print. Somebody's going to get this original. Somebody's going to get it. But that'll be up to the guys, though. I have no idea how that's going to work out. I left it completely up to them. So we're going to see where it goes. But this is their guy from, knocked a bunch of stuff off my desk. They got a character called the Cardinal over there. And he is with the Crimson Guardians title they're doing for Kickstarter. So I'm going to stop on and I'm in for a little bit and try to do some of this artwork. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to get something for the old throat here. Throat drop to the rescue. Because I've been talking all day. And anyway, I'm going to get into this thing. So hopefully it'll look cool and we'll see where it goes. I'm just going to jump right on it. Now, I know this looks like a mess, but when I ink this up, I'm going to hardline this and then I'm going to go ahead and do the final print so that we can get it all dressed up and whatnot, and I'm going to do the final ink work. But if someone wants this original, then that's fine too. I will be hardlining this. This will not go away. This is printed blue line. This will not go away. These blues will stay in the background. However, if you guys want to, like I said, have the original, then fine. That's just blue line to my layout, and it is hardcore. It is staying stuck. And I'm not even going to clean it up because of the fact that I want it raw for the final inks to make sure all the texture and motion is there for what they've got going on next. I'm going to switch over to something a little heavier. I'm going to switch on to a full 8 here. Bear with me a second while I grab that. Because this one's not working, man. It's not working. So, anyway, it's late. I'm going to be goofing off. Hope you guys can deal with that. I'm having a blast doing this stuff. And, like I said, I'm just going to be inking this out to ink it out and get it solid so that I can transfer it, scan it in, and get a hard black link without a hard black ink line without all that mess in the way. And go for it there. But yep, this thing is massive. It is an 11 by 17 piece. It is full scale, and I'm going at it full tilt. So I'm going to be at least inking up what you see. A couple of demons, a big demon down here. I don't know if you guys can see that big demon head. And then I've got this stuff down here. And hey, Ray, glad you made it, man. Glad you made it on, buddy. Yeah, Amir, Nick's a cool. He's a pretty cool cat, man. He's wild, but he's fun. He's a nice guy. I've got no complaints, so I guess that works. And as you know, I don't endorse anybody, so that says a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna be drawing this up for them, and I don't know, maybe some other stuff in the near future. I'm not at liberty to say yet. I don't know. Maybe something will work out. But as of right now, I just wanted to help out with their Kickstarter, and I offered them this piece and thought it would be really cool. And we did a nice interview that's going to be up this week here in a day or two with the Comic Kickstarter show. That'd be my podcast, plug. And we hang out a little bit and talk comics and whatnot. And we'll go from there. But this is really cool. I love this character. And I've got one of my own that is a bird-like character as well, but it's not as inspirational or, with the powers and stuff that this one has. It's not the same. Mine's more of an urban type of character, but it still works. So I have a character called Nighthawk for Firestone Comics. Mine was designed first, man. But anyway, all joking aside. Oh, I think this is going to be okay. What do you think, Ray? There may be something to this comics thing, right? Hopefully. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. I might be able to do this. My name is Simon, and I like to draw pictures. And if my voice sounds a little different, it's because I am very tired. I've been working on Night all afternoon. Night of the Living Dead, if you guys don't know what that is about. And now I've been working on this off and on this afternoon to kick it out for the guys and to show on their Kickstarter. And I'm going to be giving them a link to this video so that they can show all that fun stuff when it's up on YouTube. Now this is going to be a hard black right here, and I'm just going to jump right in with this. And because this is a pinup and it's going to go really quick, I'm going to cheat and use Sharpies rather than using full-on ink because of the fact it's more convenient. And I just want to get this off the table for the guys to get it out there to you guys and whatnot. So if I'm jumping around, don't scream at me for using a Sharpie. Yes, I know. I'm the one using it. I know I'm using it. Now there is a technique to make these work. You have to go line by line and you have to go slow and steady. A lot of people don't do that, and then you get that raised line look, and it looks like a marker scribbled across the page, which it actually is. But when you go back and forth like this, you get this fluid look. And it will maintain. It really will. It won't fade on you as long as you go nice and slow and saturate the page. It will hold up. But you have to do it nice and slow. And the reason I went real fast right there is because there was a notch in the paper, and I want to make sure I don't oversaturate it because it's kind of raised. And that causes blisters. And when you do that, you'll ruin the paper. That's from using thinner stock, because this is on 11 by 17. I think it's an 80 pound. I'm not sure. But this is some high-end paper that I like to use. It's not my artboard stock because that's one notch below 100 point. I think it's, like I said, it's some kind of special paper that I found, and I dig it. That's what I use for my pages. But this is a little bit different. This is just a high-end copy paper type of thing that I buy from the paper store, and I found that I like it. So it's good, sturdy stuff. When you rattle it, it sounds like a sheet of tin. I mean, it's just like right there. No, not for this one. Not for this one. Now, I use blue lines and I use Bristols, but I use a paper stock that they actually print blue lines on. It's the high-end cardstock that they actually use to print blue lines on. I buy it by the case. And the blue lines are actually downgraded into a different kind now. They use a different brand, and it's like recycled, and it's strange. I don't know. It's just, I don't like, I'll use the blue lines that I have because I stocked up on them because I thought they were going to not be there anymore for a long time. You know, they made a threat of disappearing. And with the digital stuff coming up and everything, I kind of stockpiled a little bit. But this paper is pulped from leftover clippings from trees that are milled for like wood and stuff like that. You know, finer stocks that are made for wood and things, and you know, actual barred lumber and boards and things like that. And these are the clippings that come off of it. Those shavings are then ground down into this pulp paper. So it comes off really clean. It's a first run print or a first run pressing. And you don't have all that crap coming into it. You know, it's not hairy like some of the recycled stuff, which I don't mind. But when you're doing artboards, it has to be pressed a certain way, and they don't do that with recycled paper as they do with fresh paper. So I tend to like it a lot better because it doesn't have that matte finish. You know, it won't get that matte side. It'll be hairy no matter what because it's pulped fiber, and it tends to tear way easier than just a cleaner, fresh press. It's like getting virgin olive oil. You know, you get the best oil out of the one press, out of the first pressing because it's the strongest. But then you get, you know, as you go down, it'll get worse and worse and thinner. But same principle here. Same principle. So I don't mind. And it's not as expensive either to buy it directly in blank. It's amazing. Where I pay for 100 boards, I might buy 100 boards and pay $70 if I go through Blue Line, where I'll go and buy a case of that same stock and it's $68 for 5,000 sheets in a case. So I have no problem using the blank boards over that. Big difference. And as many pages as I do, as often as I do them, I have to have something that's more affordable because it's just not cost efficient for me to do it that way. However, I won't stoop like some people and use, you know, just regular paper. That bothers me. So, I mean, no offense to people that do. It's just not my thing. That's all I'm saying there. It's just not my thing. Now, if I was to do this for a comic book, I wouldn't dare do this for, you know, for anything else. A pinup is one thing. And the guys know that I'm using this stuff, so I'm not knocking it. But if I was doing this for, you know, like a finished comic or something, I would be using my brush tips and stuff. I wouldn't be using this for that. I would be using my brush pins, which I have a lot of. And I'd be doing it all professional without a chance of messing it up. Because, see, this is I know I'm going to go in and hard print this, so I don't have to worry about it. You know, if I mess it up, I mess it up. But I'll go back and redraw it. But being a pinup is a little bit different deal. I'm going to line this out so that I can go in and black that out. And a lot of this stuff, like I said, I don't necessarily have to do, you know, the whole formal thing. I can use more sketchy supplies like I use for my my cards. But I want it to be professional enough that you guys are going to dig it for the Kickstarter, you know. I mean, it's not a hand-me-down crapshoot here. I definitely want it to be cool. But I like experimenting with these prints with different supplies and stuff too, to test them out and see how it works in the field, like new pins and things like that. So that's a good portion of it too. And I love trying out new papers with these things too. Okay. Yeah, this is coming off really cool. And the only reason I got asked earlier, the only reason I blue line this is because of the fact that normally I would blue line it, pencil it, or pencil it, blue line it, then ink it. In this case, I blue lined it because of the position I wanted to layer the print. So that was the reason I did that. Because I made my original sketch, which is laying over here off to the side. I took, let me see, I'll grab this real quick. I took my original print of my layout right there, and as you can see, it's much smaller than this one. And I put it in Photoshop, blew up the scan of this outline, blue lined it, and then penciled in over it, and that's what you got for the finished outline for the Cardinal. Set this pin cap over here; it keeps falling off on me. But yeah, that's how I did it. So, ta-da! If I get quiet or look away, I want to make sure I'm getting you guys, make sure I'm doing anything. Are you coloring it? It doesn't really matter anymore. Well, let's see. I'm thinking about letting the guys do it because of the fact that I want to see what's going on. I'm going to let, hey, James, I'm going to see if the guys want to do that or not, because what's going on right now is they're using this original as a print, and I don't know if they want me to color it or not. I'm going to have to see what they want me to do. I mean, if they want me to color it, I'll color it. If they want one of their guys to do it, then that's fine too. But if they want me to knock it out, yeah, I'll either pop it into Photoshop or I'll grab the good old Copics and go at it. Because I don't know if I would do this one in pencil or not. I don't know if I would color this one in pencils. We'll see. Of course, I may get froggy and do it anyway. I don't know. I did something like 4 pages today, so I'm a little tired. I'd probably have to color it tomorrow just to wipe that out. So I'll have to wait and see how far I get with this one. But this character is outstanding. I'm just really kind of going through here and popping in lines and getting it done. And at this scale, you know, I'm not really brushing it out, but I am trying to get as much of the detail in there as possible. A lot of people might be like, you just outlining it, man. Why are you just outlining it? I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it. I'm just having a good time right now trying to map this out. And like I said, there's a lot of forgiveness at this phase because I'm just kind of doing it. It's raw art here. And I mean, these are my real pencils right over it. I did this just a little while ago. And what I'm doing now is kind of filling it in so I can go on and do the next phase. It is coming out pretty solid, pretty fast though. And the big thing is, people ask me all the time, you know, how do you do a couple pages in a day, and then when you do your sketch card, it takes you half an hour or longer? No, that's because I'm yakking, you know. I haven't come into the phase yet where I can do a lot of talking while I'm doing the drawing and then make it expedient, because I'm doing all the talking. So I get asked about that all the time. It's like, you claim to do all those pages, but yet you taken half an hour to do this one, and you know, you took 45 minutes to do that one. And well, yeah, it's because I'm talking. If I was just to be perfectly quiet and draw, you guys wouldn't be, you know, very happy with that. Are you not entertained? So okay, cool deal. I am knocking this bad boy out. And like I said, this is me kind of puttering around while I'm talking, just letting you guys see it and hanging out for a little bit so that I can get this done. and make a nice little video about it being made. And the reason for that is so that the guys can show it off and say, you know, hey, this is really how it was made, and this is it. And like I said, thank you for tuning in. My name is Simon, and I like to draw pictures. And if you don't know that reference, you can Google it and check it out for yourself. I better quit that, because when I put this on YouTube, the algorithm will kick it on and go, that's not Brad Linder. He said he's Alvin and some kind of chipmunk and some kind of, I don't know. The video says it's Brad. So I'll quit screwing around with that. Just to be official for everybody listening in social media, this is Brad Linder. Thank you very much. I am drawing the Cardinal. Now that I've finished messing around with every algorithm possible, I will go in and black this in. So I've noticed something else today too. I did a few podcasts over the last week. I think I did like nearly 20 podcast episode recordings, 3 or 4 a day, while I was drawing. And all day today, my daughter's been telling me, you've got your radio voice. Which is her telling me to be quiet because my throat's worn out. Cracks me up. This is a big chunk here, so I'm going to go right down this chest line just a little bit. I know I probably shouldn't do it with a Sharpie, but I'm going to anyway. Now I'll go back and smooth it out. Okay, cool deal. Now these marks on this character, on his chest and stuff, you know, they represent a flared cardinal perfectly. Because the funny thing about it is, cardinals, if you don't know about these things are vicious. I mean, they are not fun to be around, man. They're not fun to be around. I was born and raised in Texas, and these things would tear you up if you disturbed their nest, or their, you know, you got in the woods where their mating area was and whatnot, or where the colony was. They would come at you like no tomorrow, man. It was crazy. You got into their breeding ground, they were gonna mess you up, make you into a nest. But blue jays too. Blue jays are pretty vicious. But I digress. So anyway, while you're on and I'm hanging out, you know, while we're here, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to know about the character, you can ask Ray while he's on, Ray Merrick. And if Nick pops his head out of his turtle shell hiding out over there, I don't know if he'll come on or not. But if he happens to, cool deal as well. You can ask him whatever. He is the current artist on this bad boy, and Mr. Merrick is involved with the publishing company in many facets. Many facets. And those guys have all the details. But if you want to know about what I'm doing here, or comics, or whatever that I do, let me know. And I've even gotten marketing questions on here lately, which is a little cool, a little strange, because this is not the show for that, but it works too. So I do that as well. It's always fun. Okay. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and okay. Now this right here is a little bit different. This is the drum for the mechanics of the wings, which I'm putting in on this one because that's just the design that I had, where they still had the mechanical bits in the back. So I'm not sure if they do now with Nick's redesign for the launch, but this is the character reference I got from the website, so hopefully it's still the same. If it's not, then blame Ray because he gave me the link. But no, if it's not, that's okay. You know, it's an adaptation. It's still the character. He had them at one point, so I have no problem with that. Cool deal. All right. Now he's starting to come together. This dude is so cool with these things. I just don't know. I like characters that are really vicious for comics. And, you know, I think heroes should be really dark. And, you know, they should hand a villain his keister on a platter, as it were. And I think that's the way it should be, because you have to be tough enough and good enough to go against whatever villain is confronting your hero. But we'll see where it goes. And the funny thing is, since I'm sitting here just yakking, I just saw a post on one of the news sites. I don't remember which one it was now. They said something about maybe you can do that, Amir. Talk to Ray and see what he says, man. Make sure you have permission from the guys, though, because they don't want their stuff circulating a lot. They're doing some new imprint adjustments, so be sure you talk to Ray and get permission for that first, please, before you go drawing all over the place, because I want to make sure it's legit, and I don't want you to see it here and get yourself in trouble with them. You know, Ray's on right now. You can ask him if, you know, you can. But anyway, but yeah, I saw something on the news, the comics news, about a petition actually in existence to make the Joker homosexual, which I found that fascinating. I was like, okay, everybody wants to gender swap and, you know, sexual orientate, redirect sexual orientation for all these characters, you know, and it's weird, man. Just create new characters that are that way if that's what you want, you know. Because I'm sorry to the petitioners, that's awesome, but in this particular case, I'm going to say nay on that one. And the reason I'm going to is 2 words. And no offense to anybody, I've got plenty of gay friends. I have no problem with that alternative lifestyle for your choice. That's your thing. And I totally respect and support that. What I'm saying is, leave the Joker alone. The reason why, 2 words. Harley Quinn. That is the most sensual and strange relationship in comics. I mean, everybody says Batman and Catwoman are weird, you know, and extreme and whatnot. And I just think that Harley and the Joker are just up there with the top ranks for that. That's just, yeah. That's a peanut butter and jelly thing right there. They are just like right there, man. It doesn't come to pass better than that right there. They are the ultimate villain duo. And a lot of people knock that, and I'm just like, they got it, man. They got it. Leave it alone. Back away slowly. And the funny thing is, I don't even like Harley. As a character, I don't like Harley Quinn, period. I just don't. I don't dig her. But from the animated series, man, that's where she was originally conceived and released into the DC canon. So you have to respect that. You know what I mean? You have to respect that. And instead of reversing this, I think I'm gonna wait. I was going to reverse it black, but I'm just going to leave it, because I penciled it originally. I'm just going to leave it open and all. Turn it white like that one when I erase it. That's what I get for drawing in the designs and not blacking it out. And everybody asks me, why do you pencil all your blacks in? And that's why. So I know where they are. So I know where they are. Because normally when I exit, it's too late. When I do this, it's already too late. I've already put something in place that I'm going to need. So, and that's exactly what happened here. That could be cool, Ray. A fan art page. Someone just typed that Ray needs to add a fan art page to the comic book site for Apogee. I think that's pretty cool. That would be neat. How'd you find your talent pool? They sent a sketch. Pretty neat. So I've got this going on here. Yep. Nice. I'm going to block a little more of that out to smooth it out because it looks a little fuzzy right there. Looks a little hairy. So cross that out a little bit. Now, the reason I don't have any heavy blacks other than that right there on the fingers, on the hand, is because this comes out as a really charcoal gray color rather than a true black, because it's got a gauntlet, which that's what that little nick right there is. This is kind of a glove gauntlet thing that goes over the top over here. And I wanted to add that on, and it gave me a chance to define the fingers and the hand without ruining it by blocking it all out. But I may change my mind. You never know. I may change my mind in a minute and go in and block it all out because it's wide open for either option. We'll see how it goes. We'll also see how long I take on this video, because if I take forever, I may just have to block it out to hurry up and get it done. Or we might get another piece out of this thing tomorrow. You never know. You never know. Go away, kid. You're about to be. So, all joking aside, it's not so bad. It looks pretty decent. Now, I'm going to take a 3 or a 5 in drawing those demons here shortly, because of the fact that I don't want them all blunt line like this. Except for this big guy down here at the bottom. You know, that guy is huge. And I want to make sure he's covered. But for the time being, I'm just trying to get in some of these details of this raw line work and get this done. So now, when Comic Kickstarter comes back this week, by the way, for the Volume 2 regular show, I am going to be doing this once a week. I'm going to be doing the podcast once a week, and I wanted to talk about that because Ray and Chris are my first 2 guests. Or is it Ray and Brian? It's Ray and Brian that are my first 2 guests, because Ray and Nick are going to be on the first one together, and then I've got Brian Salinas right after that. So, and then Chris is coming down the line. So yeah, I had to look over at my schedule. I have a big schedule on the wall. Big schedule. Big schedule. Lots of stuff to do. And yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, Chris and Nick are gonna. Sorry, now I got it all mixed up. Ray and Nick, and then I've got Chris, and then I've got. Oh man, like I said, 15, 20 people coming on. Brian Salinas is going to be coming on. You guys know him for Comics. He goes to conventions and stuff, and is working on some new projects coming up. He's going to be hanging out with me on a couple episodes here in the near future. I've got Jay Martin coming up, which is a figure artist, and he teaches how to do a lot of cool stuff with making figurines and painting them. And he actually makes a profession out of that, which is wild within itself, because he paints miniatures for a living. That's pretty neat, man. And he also has a magazine coming up too, which is really, really cool. And being a fan of figurines, not that I am anymore, but I used to paint them all the time, models and figurines and things like that in my youth. I don't do them a lot now, though. I don't do a lot of that stuff now. I paint on canvas a little bit once in a while, but I'm pretty busy drawing stuff like this, so I don't have a lot of time. And then when I'm doing this, I'm knocking out comic books for you guys that are all coming up finally. That was a long year, man, to wait and build up everything like that. And I was like, I'm going to do a webcomic, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I had to build everything up and get it going to finally get ahead to where I could be a one-man army, because of the fact that I wanted to shift into marketing and, full-time publicly, instead of working with just clients behind the scenes and making other people famous and then taking the money. I want to build up my own brand, as I promised my kid sister I would do. And that's where that came from. I don't make promises I can't keep, and that's one I've got to keep. And she passed away in 2015, so I got to get my butt in gear. So I had to officially take a year off and do the comic live card sessions you guys see for the sketchbook, and build up comics and build up speed and do a bunch of client stuff and whatnot. And now I had a couple of projects going, but they've faded out, and now I got a graphic novel that I'm doing and a couple of other things, and I've still got some more covers to do for John over at John Rogers over there at Comic Book Covers Cancer, and bunch of other stuff. But this week, along with the podcast, I've got another podcast show coming out, and I have webcomics coming out. And then in late February, early March, I have a bunch of comic books coming out. So it's wild, man. It's wild. And that's just on the comic side of my business. That doesn't count the marketing side. But anyway, I may even have a surprise or two with with the Apogee guys. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not at liberty to say anything right now, but we'll see. Excuse my sniffles, man, my nose. Have to keep adjusting my glasses too. My headset keeps pushing my glasses down. But let's see. I think we may actually have something here. Maybe I ought to draw comics or something for a living. I think there's something to this. Not to be a jerk or anything, but maybe I'll be like Bob Kane and go into it for the money. Just saying. Poor Bob Kane ripped off poor Bill Finger, and now everybody's poor and everybody's gone and everybody's wasted, and it's horrible. Wow. Let's see. I like it. This is really cool. I'm having a blast here. So, all cutting up aside, just kind of make sure you guys are still in frame here. We have a running count of 0 Ray just said on the post about the fan page for the fan art. He had mentioned that they have a running count of 0 for the fan art, which I think that would be a cool deal. I really do. I think that would be good for them. They have that open format, so it would be really easy for people to show up and, you know, do posters and fan art and stuff like that. I surely think it would be neat. So, yep. You just got to be careful with it, though, because people like to run off with your IPs, man. They take liberties and say, look what I drew, and then they sell it. You're not supposed to do that. Okay, cool deal. I am really, really digging this character. But I won't even come at it seriously because Nick likes it too much to let it go. This is his baby right here, artistically. That'd be funny. No, you can't draw it. Just kind of hashing this out a little bit. Giving the old Abbas a little bit of detail. Cool. All right. I want to go from the outside in. There we go. Cool. I wanted to fan that out a little because I thought it was getting too monotonous with the same direction. I wanted to kind of pull it a different way. And cool. He's coming along all right. Cut that kind of high. At least it went into the penciled scribble rather than up into the clean white. That would have been a pain. And normally, I wouldn't pace myself like this and go through each individual piece. What I would do is I would block out everything that was major. I think I'm going to do this arm first. I would block out all the major pieces, block them off, then I would ink. Almost wrinkled the page there because of my blotter. I don't want to do that. Now I'm up high, though, so I don't have to do that because there's no pencil up here except for that, which is what it is. So we'll get that going. I love this pose, though. This is probably the 15th or 16th pose that I decided to go with. I didn't want to just lay down a line and, go, look at him funny and go, I'm Batbird, and be done with it in a typical pose, because, Batman's had so many of these action poses, so is Superman, that you have to be real careful to get an original camera angle anymore without it, just looking like it's a different character doing the Batman thing, or the Superman thing, or, or whatever. It takes a little bit now to get a little bit more of an edge on it. And like I said, I went through probably 15 or 16 poses to get through this. I think it was. Took a while. But I do the same thing in comic books. You know, the body can only move so many ways and so many angles. That's why I decided to blow it up close and, you know, enlarge it to this scale and then put in the demons around it at different sizes and depths to shake it up. And then I'll put in whatever, you know, whatever background. But I don't know how the guys are going to work it as far as it coming out as a print or what. Ray, if you're still on, man, you want to, have you guys decided what you're going to do with it? Have you guys decided if you're going to do a print out of it, or if you're going to give away just the original, or what? Because I know what my recommendation was, but I want to see what you guys officially decided to do. Because if, as a print, a lot of people can get it, but I don't know. Maybe he'll respond in a minute. He's probably busy doing something else. That happens. That happens. So that'd be funny. We'd be here on live and Ray decided to run off and put on a comic book page, a comic book fan art page on the website like right now. And I don't know when you're watching this, but right now it's 11:30. So I don't know if anybody would want to run off and code something, and I do a lot of coding, so I don't know if I would be up to that right now unless I was building something that I knew was just going to pop off right in a couple of minutes, you know. But and the funny thing is, I say that, and I'm an insomniac, and I am constantly up all hours of the day and night doing something. What'd you do today? Well, what day is it? Yep. Crazy. So, we've got all this fun stuff in the way here. Gonna map this out. Dink. Put in the old knuckle. Oh my goodness, my sniffles. So let's turn it around here and see how we're doing. See how we're doing. Okay, cool. Push this up now. And I'm gonna bounce over and get this get some of this demon handled out here. I'm gonna hand out some demon let's see. All joking aside, I get serious because it's a little finer line and I don't want to jack it up. Okay. Burr that up a little bit. put in some of those finer details for those nails. Now here comes the nasty bit right here. You go in, you put in a little bit of a cuticle, and then you come up with the triangle off up to the edge. You go in and put in a cuticle, come up with the triangle up to the edge like this, and this will instantly triangulate any nail and make it just look gnarly as all get out. I don't know why that works so much, but it does. It really will make it look nasty really fast. I picked up that trick a long time ago. And that's back when I used to like to draw horror stuff primarily. You know, I went through one of those phases too. I was always drawing mythological stuff like dragons and, you know, heroes and, you know, with the barbarian swords and all that mess all the time. And I mean, it was cool, but I hit a phase to where I didn't want to do any of that anymore. And then I got into demons and, you know, the heavy metal stuff where I would draw skeletons for my friends, you know, and I was a really goody two-shoe, so I didn't do anything outrageous, you know, in my youth. I just didn't. There were a couple of incidences where I started to scrap a little bit now and again when I got tired of getting beat up as a little kid because I wouldn't fight, not because I couldn't, but I wouldn't. And I don't make a promise I can't keep, and I promised my mom I wouldn't, and I got clobbered a few times because of it. Trying to be the good guy. And then I got into junior high, and people would mess with me, and I had to take it a different level. You know, my mom decided that it was a good idea to let me out of that one. So things changed, but you know, yeah. I used to draw all kinds of weird stuff, and I would figure out neat ways to lay it out like this. You know, and if any of my kids are listening, you know, my students and stuff, or my biological kids, my daughter, you know, don't do that. You know better. Don't get into that mess. Stay straight, keep clean, do what you got to do. So, let's see. I got into law enforcement and stuff, and just keep clean now. I don't get into trouble. I try not to get into too many arguments. Try to just make good on business, make good on comics, make good, period. Let's see. I think that's coming off really well. I hope you guys can see that. Cool deal. I'm really enjoying that. That is going to come out so clean when I erase all that. That is going to come out so well, really. This is going to come out so well. I had a guy the other day ask me if he could have my Ghost Rider card from the first, I don't know, the first dozen or two of the sketch cards. He asked if he could have that to get his tattoo friend as he called him, which was in reference to his tattoo artist. and he wanted to take it to his tattoo guy and have him make it a image stuck on his arm. And I was like, man, there's so many better ghostwriters out there other than my sketch card. Do you really want that on your skin? He said, yeah. And I haven't seen if he did it or not. You know, I haven't seen anything if he did. But I was just like, wow, that's nuts. But to each their own. I don't know if I would want to. I mean, I've drawn tattoos for friends and stuff before, and clients. And that's just one of those things I don't want to go off and think about my drawing being stuck on someone's skin. I mean, if they did it, I'd be honored, but at the same time, it's kind of creepy because I have a needle phobia. so I don't like needles. I don't like them at all. But these kind of things make me think about that. That demon stuff makes me think about that. That's funny. Because that dude was all about it, boy. He was serious. I was like, all right, man, if you ever do, I'll definitely take a look. But I gave him a temporary form of consent so that he could get that tattoo. Just the one time and whatnot. But if people are going to steal your work and put it on their skin, you know, there's not really much you can do about it. I mean, you can't have them remove it. So, and not that I'd really want to, because they're you know, in a business sense, they're a walking billboard. So it's always cool too. I mean, I know that kind of sounds kind of shallow on the surface, but the thing of it is, if they're going to wear it, why not? Why not? Let them give credit where it's due and say, well, you know, say who the artist is. But they'll probably give credit to the tattoo artist and not you. So, so there's a double-edged sword there. Now these spikes are coming up kind of like teeth in regards to the image. So I'm just carving them in kind of like I said, like teeth or like stone, or it's a combination. It's really intricate in the way that works. So they just kind of pop up and take natural form. And if you can make them do it, it is really neat. So let's see. I think I'm going to go in and just ink this one real quick with this big old Sharpie here. Boom, done. I think that looks cool. It's starting to come out. Get back up here and do some more of this. Now, in contrast here, I'm going to black this out. Get that forearm going in there. Now, the reason I put this thing back here is because this is going to be right here is the outline of the arm for this little critter's forearm. Boom, like that. Now what I got back here is I got the start for the other leg, which is up over here. And this is what I was going to do around this energy line, and I didn't draw it out. So I'll draw it out right now. You guys are going to get to see me lay this out. Boom, done. Nice and raw right there. Pop in a kneecap. Get in the bottom of that first half. Pop in that Kirby squiggle. You know, that that curve he puts around the edge there. And I think I'm going to put in an extra arm right down here. Like that on this one. And I'll make it deformed. Like some of the eyes on a couple of the other ones, they have other arms and stuff going on. So they have arms and eyes and whatever because they're demons. And I'll add in an extra shoulder here. And I'll block that one off a little bit. That way we can ad-lib that spot and fix it. Because I want that to come right up to that energy line for the wing. That works. Cool. There we go. What I'm doing with these squiggles is kind of making the rough eel-like skin to this character, because he's got his forearm up and he's got a weird musculature, so I'm not necessarily making him full-on humanoid, just roughly. Okay, come up in here. Now I thought about making it kind of an insect, but being demon, I don't want to take away from the look and segment that too much, so I decided to just pop it in like this. Put in the pectoral muscle right there, and there's the front of the shoulder, there's the front of the arm, right along here, like that. Kind of get that Will Spatasio thing going on where I frame it out and just run away. Frame it out and run away. But I have to shift this though because I don't want it to get weird. Let's see. I think I can get in there with it. I may need to get a brush, but I'll see if I can black that out real quick. I want to kind of leave a white space there for some negative room. Oh, I can hear the train. There's a train yard about 3 miles from us, and it's at night you can hear it just plain as day. Just, it's out there, man. It's out there. Okay. Got that going on. A little bit of a mark or two in here. Kind of bring that up a little bit. Okay. I'm taking a look over everything here. I don't want to draw him on any of the spots where I need the wing energy to go. That would be a bummer. Just kind of building that up a little bit. Normally a lot smoother with my inks, but I'm sketching. Like I said, I don't have the fine lines sketched in, so I'm building these up slow to keep them as clean as possible. Now, if I went all out and detailed this thing out, probably like I should have, like I've detailed him out, it would be a different thing. But I wanted to make it sketchy in the background so that he would look further back and less detailed than me coming in and detailing all of it out and, you know, being, I don't know, kind of like a Mark Silvestri thing where it would be all over the place. I wanted it to be a little more abstract for the purposes of being smaller and being further out from the character's attention zone, as it were. And I think it makes it pop a lot more whenever it comes off with less detail. I'm going to bring this down and around so you guys can see it. But I don't want to push my lamp off, so that would be a bummer. I have clamp lamps up on top of my desk up here, and I don't want to push them away. That would be a bummer. I don't want them to go. You guys wouldn't be able to see anything. Now, if you notice on this ear, I will tell you this. If you notice on this ear, I took a little bit of liberty here and lopped it off like he'd been bitten by maybe another being or another demon or whatever. Or maybe he got it cut off with, you know, a sword or something from another hero or something it faced at some time. I like doing little tidbits and personality pieces like that because it builds out the characters, you know. It doesn't have to be just flat and uniform on every one of them like they've never had a life experience. Because if they live and there's some kind of spiritual energy, they're going to have experiences in some level where you're going to get to see that stuff play out. And in this particular case, it was one of those things where he got in a scrap with somebody else, and he shouldn't have, and he didn't listen, so he lost part of his ear. Brum-bum. I like doing that kind of stuff. Just kind of wears on it a little bit, makes it a little different, a little unique. Okay, cool deal. Now, when I kicked this one in, I wanted to make it a little bit more diverse, so because I wanted him to look nasty. Where the Cardinal looks really, really tough, I wanted this guy to just be all over the place, nasty and grimacing. But I don't want to take him too over the top, you know. A lot of people take these things like seriously high end, and it's just like, why put in all that effort just for, you know, something that you're gonna kill off or have appear abstract. I put in just enough detail to make him look, like I said, that have that eel or shiny look. I really didn't want to hard line that wing, but that's all right. I'm going to have to eventually anyway. Let's see where we're at. Edge of this pectoral muscle. Put in something there. Put in another slash mark like he's been scratched maybe. Like that. And there we go. Cool. Now we got the tendon dip in the shoulder for the muscles to separate right there. And I'll put that right over here for the end of that. And now we have the muscle showing up. for the delt, for a demon's version of a delt, I guess. Like that. And we can put another twisted scar in here. This kind of thing. So that handles that. Now I don't want it to go off the point of that, so I'm going to come up here with this elbow and start right here. And then I'll come around this way with the triceps, because I don't want to. A lot of guys go in there and go bink right off the point and say boom. You know, I don't want to go off the point of my horns here on the head, because it'll flatten them out. And me having a cleaner animated style and a little more abstract with heavier lines, going in and doing all this cross hatching and feathering and stuff, it makes me have to reach outside my comfort zone, which is a cool thing for me. But I don't want to get all up in there where I'm doing that nothing but, because that's a big habit that I see people get all the time. And they ruin artwork because they'll kill it. And I mean, not in a good way like crush it. I mean, they'll kill it like they'll destroy it. And it'll be bad news, man. And I mean really bad news. Because they'll just burn out all the detail and you can't see a thing after that point. Now I'm going to thicken that line up on the edge there. And whenever I go in to do this, I'm going to shrink this image down just a little bit, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut that down, and got these demon fingers back here, which I'm going to silhouette. But yeah, there's the strange stuff of coming in and cutting this down too much and messing it up. What I like to do is shrink this down a little bit and then put a black line around the border. And then you can have full prints run off the edge. And it's, even if it's got the white sideline, you know, even if it's got the white edge, if I'll shrink it down to fit this, or it'll have just that little bit of trim lip, it'll be able to hold that up and not destroy the original image for you guys. So you'll be able to get a better print and a better poster out of it. And I'm not going to waste my 5 on that, so go in here and get that done. But so many people, I see them do it all the time. They'll get into this little designy stuff, and they'll overwork it so bad that it'll be nothing but this scribbly stuff, and then it'll clog it up. I know so many artists that do that, and I am not one of them. I just don't want to be. So I'm not going to do that. And you're like, now you copped out on the hand, man. Well, no, not really. Because what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make that come in this way and tip off those claws, where you'll get just a little bit of it, but you won't get the whole hand. And the reason I did that is to give it more depth back behind, because it's way back there like he's going to come around and slash somebody. And I just didn't want to waste that emphasis on that stretch, you know. But anyway, I'm going to come in here and put in this leg. Cool deal. All right. Shadow out a little bit of this side over here for that waistline and the obliques and the hip and whatnot as it comes up. And I kind of gave him a folded hobgoblin look, so the hip would be back in here and what you see here is the side of the stomach and everything where he's like crunched down. So really nasty looking guy. But we shall see what comes of it. And now I'm going to put this on here because I'm going to black this out. Boom, right there. Right along this wing. Now I know we got the whole wing thing of energy, which I really, really dig. But I just wanted to see what the guys wanted to do with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it off the edge here, and I'm going to go ahead and black it out. And we'll color it in red. And I might even, like I said, I might even take this one to Photoshop, I don't know, and digitally color it. But I like the black line work. It just makes it pop a little bit, where some of that stuff just won't. But, whoops, I knocked Sharpie off the table. I shouldn't have these things on the resting rack. I should have them on the side table, but I want to keep them handy for when I jump into this stuff. Yeah, that's coming out all right. He's a little more scribbly than I'm used to, but it's working. It's working. I'm going to refine this eye a little bit. Give it a little more of a pop. I don't like the flat eye look. I just don't. I think they have shape, they have depth, and they need to show up. So now I know it's going to be like, why didn't you go all the way over? I don't want it to line up with that that shoulder cross. I wanted to give it a gap to keep that apart. So that's a little tip for you. If you need to do that, put a little gap in them. Don't run them together. See if I can make these teeth look a little more gnarly. We're going to pop that on, pop that one in, make that one, we'll round it off like it's got a divot in it. Not necessarily a cavity, but just a different shape. You know, that's why people track you by dental records. And, you know, they can find out where you're at and, you know, find out if it's you and whatnot by dental records, because each tooth is like a, each tooth, each fingerprint, and each iris of the eye are unique to the person. And ears as well. So, you know, you can make them as unique as you want, and they will be able to be defined by that. And they're as definitive in definition and identification as Wolverine's claws coming out of his arms, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, not everybody has that. Of course, now 3 or 4 characters have it, but still, originally it was just Wolverine, you know, back when it was just him. Now everybody's got them, but it doesn't matter. It's like the bat craze. Everybody and their dog was Batman, or, you know, Robin, Batwing, Nightwing, Batgirl, Huntress. It was just all those things coming together. They have 40 different Batman characters and all that stuff now. And it's not even because of the multiverse or the universe or the convergence or any of that. It was just because of the fact that they wanted to have the characters and they made them. It's like, hey, let's have another Batman. Okay, cool. It was weird. And the robins running around, that was pretty neat. That was weird too. It's like, hey, who are you? I'm Robin. No, I'm Robin. I'm Red Robin. I'm Gold Robin. I'm Robin number 3. It's just, come on. Bore me to death. But anyway. I love DC Comics and I love Marvel Comics in their original forms, but you know, I would love to work with Marvel, but you know, as Marvel, not Disney Marvel necessarily, but as Marvel, I would have liked to have worked with them. But then you have, you know, DC, which I've always wanted to work with, and we'll see how that happens. But you know, I think I've been in some sort of a hole with them because they don't want anything to do with me. Maybe I'm not producing enough comics fast enough for them. But I don't take it personal. I draw comics, you know. I don't need those guys. If they decide they want to work with me and I decide I want to work with them because I'm in that place, awesome. But I don't need to work with those guys. I may want to down the line somewhere. Okay, we're going to leave that open because I want that to look like the costume is slick and leave it open for armor or whatnot. Let's see. Just rambling here to make conversation while I draw. I want to put a little bit of detail in here, but I just don't want to go too far because that's not what I do with this character. Like on that, and then we'll put a little notch right here, like he's been scuffed a little bit. Just kind of balance it out and leave it alone at that. Okay. Squiggles. Make the glove look scratched up a little bit. Okay. Popping that in. Popping that in. Boom, boom, boom. Get up on this knuckle here. Go right here. Right here. All right. I don't want to do, like I said, I don't want to overkill because I don't want it to make it look like the alien, or excuse me, the demon's skin back there. I want this to be really smooth, and this is the shoulder right here, and I need to black this out, so I'll have to grab the Sharpie in just a second and grab that. But right back here, this is the neck muscle, so we want to go in here, boom, just like that. That's that trap on the side there of the neck, and then this will be black. Like that. Like that. As everybody's watching in anticipation that I don't screw the hand up. That'd be horrible. Cool. Okay, now I'm going to make these lines look stiff, like they're not, like I said, not skin like he's got, but just more fabric focused, like their material. Pop that on. Boom. Done deal. Scribble that out. Cool. All right, that works. Nice. I'll leave that helmet alone because, like I said, I don't want to mess with that. And put in a couple more details. This elbow pad here. Like I said, some of this is very armor-esque, specifically. And let's see where we're at right now. It's coming along all right. Coming along all right. That's that black spot I need to put in for the arm. Okay. Get that blacked out. Boom, 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 boom. Right there. Okay. It was funny, back when I used to work for law enforcement at the sheriff's department, they used to ask me all the time. When I worked down at the jail, they used to ask me to draw characters and stuff. It's like, you can't draw any Spider-Man, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'd grab out the bag, you know, and go at it. It was pretty cool. It's always fun. Shut a few of the guys up pretty quick. Yep. Cool deal. Knock this out. Now, I see this kind of thing all the time with artists going in and wanting to, you know, just detail everything to death. The only reason I'm doing this right now is because I want this costume to look scratched up. Because, you know, he's been fighting demons and whatnot, so I want him to look a little rougher than most would need him to be. You know, normally he wouldn't be that rough, I don't think. I know Nick likes to use a lot of line work, and the reason he does that is because it's his style. But for me, I like to add in combat marks and things like that. But only in situations like this where the suit, you know the suit's going to be jacked up a little bit in this regard. So just a little bit. Okay, got that going. I need to black out that shoulder before I forget. And then I'll print the daggum thing, and it'll be, that shoulder will still be uncolored. Crazy. And I'm notorious for doing that as of late. I've done it on 3 occasions this week that I'll legally claim to. So, 3. Oh, let's see. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, alrighty. A couple of marks there. Like that. And for some reason, this character just seems to beg for this kind of damage control mark kind of thing. You know, like it's been scruffed up and scuffed up, and he's been banged up, and he really doesn't care. He's just there to get the job done. He's going to swoop in and handle the job, and he's going to leave. And like I said, I don't normally do a lot of this. But on such a massive piece, though, it's just too good to pass up the really good detailing. So, like that. Come in that way from that side there. And then, boom. Give it a nice little highlight right there on the outside. Curve that down just to balance things out. Cool. I like it. All right. Now this side's going to get a lot of light, but it's still going to need to be roughed up because of the fact that, you know, damage control and all that. I'm just going to try and not scratch it up too much and keep the lines clean. Build that up a little bit. Okay. So, I have been at this for about an hour and a half, a little over. And I'm still going to put in a little more work into this. But I think it's going to be later into the morning when people will be back up to watch. Or I might finish out. I don't know. I'm going to at least finish up this arm. Because right now it's starting to look like he's taking on a life of his own here. Okay. I actually think this looks good. I hope it does to everybody else too. Okay. Let me keep working on those. to finish them out. These little few details here. And we'll start getting to that leg. So that's going to bring me back up to an 8 or a 1. That's another thing I didn't do. While I've got it here, I'm going to switch over and do the teeth. I want to bring up that fin on the mask. Like that. Now, I better turn him up right because I don't want to mess him up. What the heck did you do to his mouth? And most people won't even touch the teeth anymore. They just leave them white. Not me, man. I'm not afraid of a little teeth work. I like drawing teeth. Because then that makes that snarl look even nastier. Just all kinds of rawr. Wow. Okay. Cool deal. Like that. And I wasn't going to detail the helmet, but now I am. I've decided I'm just going to overwork it and just do it. Because I've gone that way, you know, it's full on. Why not? Just knock it out, get it over with. Just carve out the metal. Do it. I'm going to go right up under here. Kind of give a shadow behind that metal there. Because that's a ridge right there on his mask. Yeah, that works. All right. And put in some angry marks there. Put in a little divot for his ear. Right back here, put in something there. Boom, 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 boom. It's starting to get a little gritty, like a Judge Dredd style, you know, because I'm not really wanting to go this heavy, but it works, it works. Put this little scuff mark down his head there. Okay. Little notch on the fin. And no, I'm not going to go in and ruin this with a bunch of feathers. I left the fin whole, so it looks like part of the helmet, and it'll hold up that way. Okay, cool deal. because this piece right here separates the helmet from the cylinder on the wings. Let's see. Okay. Rough that up a little bit. Now work on this rib cage just a little bit more. Now we got that done. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and black out the rest of this thigh here, and then I think I'm going to call it for the evening, and then I'll come back tomorrow or today later in the day and do this part and these guys over here and the wings, and show you the progress of where we're at and where we're going. So stick my big melon under the camera, picking stuff up, but and I'm in one of those bald phases. I've been shaving my head, so if I do stick it under there, it's all you'll see is the top of my dome and my headset. But anyway, let's see where we're at. I don't even think I'm going to cut into that leg right now. I think I'm just going to fill out this belt and call it a day for right now. And we'll go from there. And I'll bring it back for another session tomorrow. Cool. I might even go ahead and finish it up in the morning and just show you guys the finished results. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, okay, cool deal. I think this is a very good start to this. I think it's a very, very solid start. So, all right, with that said, I'm going to stop there. And I just wanted you guys to be able to see this a little bit. So, penning down, penning down, penning down, penning back up. Yeah, I'm digging this. I like it. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back in here, and I've got to do something about this right here. This whole rib thing has got to do there. I can't leave that open. There's too much detail going on to leave a big white spot there. I just can't do it. But yeah, I've got this going on right now. The torso's done, the head's done, the arms are done, except for this up here, which I'll black out right now. And then this guy's in. These guys need to be outlined and blacked out. I've got the wings in here, the legs down here, and then the other guy off panel here at the bottom, which I need to do. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me so long. I know it's late, and I know it's been a pain with some of this stuff going on and me spinning this around and rambling. But anyway, thank you very much for hanging out, and we will do this again soon. Tomorrow I will be doing a lot. Well, today I will be doing a live card sometime today. I will be doing a live card for you guys. And until then, as soon as I finish this up, I am going to call it a night. And we'll finish up tomorrow. Just want to finish this out because it's a big black and it's a perfect spot for a stopping point, because I'm not going to get into the other limbs right now. Get into those other extremities down on the legs. It's just going to waste time if I don't catch this bad boy up right now and complete the spot. And like I said just earlier about the shoulder piece, it'll be a spot that I'll miss because I won't go back to it. And then it'll be horrible. And you guys will hate me. There'll be rioting in the streets and hate mail and, you know, sad faces and mad faces. It'll be horrible. It'll be mayhem. And, you know, cats and dogs living together. So, anyway, with that said, all joking aside with you guys, I appreciate it so much for coming on and checking it out. Check out the comic book, The Crimson Guardians, for Apogee over on Facebook. And you guys rock it, and you are awesome. And as always, with anything that I do on here, I request kindly that you have inherited this rock. Please leave it better than you found it for the next generation. Dig you guys. Talk to you later. Good night.